Hello everyone, my name is Prita. I'm from ACC 3218 class. So today I'll be presenting about my individual assignment for Tulip Berhad. Tulip Berhad is actually specialized in production and trading business. Their main product is producing component P. Their current production is based on labor intensive where they hire specialists and assistant specialists for production. Then, the newly appointed Chief Operation Officer wants to expand the business by investing new advanced equipment which is called machine intensive. Firstly, I have prepared the 5-year income and expenditure forecast from the year 2020 to 2024 based on the existing operation. As you can see, the sales has increased every year. This is because 1000 units and the unit price increased by 2% every year. So the revenue for Tulip Berhad has gained continuously. Let's go to the expenses part. Chemical Q is the main direct material, then goes with container F, then specialist and specialist assistant is needed for the production, then goes with the variable overhead, fixed overhead, and loss of contribution. So the total expenses is getting higher every year from the year 2020 to 2024. To make it easier, for the net income, I have prepared the statistics for the 5 years. As you can see, from the year 2020 to 2024, the net income has dropped tremendously because of high expenses, but in the year 2024, it increased unexpectedly as the sales volume is high compared to the previous year. This shows an unstable net income. Next, I have prepared the income and expenditure forecast based on the proposal given by the newly appointed Chief Operation Officer. Actually, the officer came out with an idea on investing with new advanced equipment and also setting up a new outlet. As you can see from the sales volume has changed compared to the previous forecast. This is because the total cost of new advanced equipment. The COO also expected in the year 2020 sales will increase 20% and sustain the following years. Okay, from the expenses, you can see the depreciation has added as expected life for the new advanced equipment is 5 years. Then the normal loss of chemical Q has reduced by 2%. So there are changes in chemical Q and loss of contribution. Then their supplier actually offered buy 10 free 1 container F of annual purchase of 30,000 units and above. So Tulip Berhad received the free containers from the year 2020 to 2024 only. Next, they just need a specialist in operating in the new advanced equipment, but they just need to spend 1 hour for production as previously they need 3 hours to produce each of the unit component P. Moreover, specialist assistant is not required for the new production. There is no changes in variable overhead and fixed overhead. So let me show the statistics of net income for the new advanced equipment. As you can see, the beginning year shows in negative value because the total expenses is more than the total revenue. But surprisingly, it has increased continuously the following years. This shows a good net income compared to labor intensive. Next, there are 10 matters to be considered in order to evaluate the proposal to invest in the new advanced equipment. The first matter is the demand of product. In the local or global market, the commodity is expected to meet its need to be demanding. To establish the preference of consumers, a comprehensive market analysis must be carried out. So, in the component P, demand was projected to rise by 20% on the annual basis. This indicates that when the sales are projected to grow afterwards, the community has its own market. Next is startup costs when introducing machine-based production. Initiating a production business will typically be expensive as the development and uh, procurement of advanced equipment and machinery will require a suitable workplace. As in this case, Tulip Berhad widened the business market by setting up new outlet and the specialists just need 1 hour to produce each unit of the product. Next, the cost of machine. In a plant, the investment return will be limited by the expense of system maintenance. When buying machines or machinery, the customers has the choice to purchase a good quality machine with long working life or only get a cheap one at the beginning to save the money. When setting up a machine intensive, the cheap machinery may be beneficial in minimizing the investment, which can certainly lead to high maintenance and running costs over the life of the system. Next is accuracy and efficiency. As investing a new advanced equipment, the normal loss of chemical Q has reduced in the production process efficiently. Machines will create a normal loss, precise and productive performance. Next is skilled laborers and trained laborers. The organization will require skilled labor during the prosperity of machine intensive. The operators who operate the machinery require appropriate expertise and preparation as the technology intensive transfer to labor intensive. Next is an employment rate. The work rate will definitely decrease as labor-intensive manufacturing is converted into machine-intensive production. When the input has been replaced, the growth in technology strength will cause certain employees to lose the work. This can contribute to systematic unemployment. Next is skilled laborers and trained laborers. The organization will require skilled labor during the prosperity of machine intensive. The operators who operate the machinery require appropriate expertise and preparation as the technology intensive transfer to labor intensive. Next is an employment rate. The work rate will definitely decrease as labor-intensive manufacturing is converted into machine-intensive production. When the input has been replaced, the growth in technology strength will cause certain employees to lose the work. This can contribute to systematic unemployment. Next is flexibility. In order to a difference in demand, the intensive system may face constraints. This illustrates the absence of machine-intensive versatility. Whereas after undergoing shifts in demand, labor-intensive productions can be resilient. Next is labor shortage issue. Machine-intensive production is typically not halted or postponed due to labor shortages without the need for jobs, such as procedures can be carried out. The next factor is competition among other manufacturers. Because other producers have the ability to satisfy the market for the product, it is important to find out more about other manufacturers making the same product. It is important to understand the pattern of rivals, share market, and how much demand for their own industry will be present in the market. The final method is labor productivity. The intensive system is capable of increasing labor efficiency, which corresponds to production per worker. The biggest contribution to the concept of long-term financial development is capital efficiency and labor efficiency. So, Let me share the two alternative methods in financing acquisition of the new advanced equipment. The first method is leasing method. As the company needs new advanced equipment but can't afford it, leasing may be an option to consider. Instead of owning all at once, leasing helps the company to make smaller monthly payments, usually over um, multi-year duration. So what are the advantages? The first advantages of leasing method is less initial upfront investment. The biggest advantage of business equipment leasing is that it lets the company to buy properties with minimal upfront investment. Since equipment rentals seldom require a down payment, the company can buy the items they need without greatly affecting the cash flow. Next is easier facilities for upgrades. Leasing helps companies to solve the obsolescence issue. A lease passes the risk of obsolescence to the lessor if the company the lease to purchase products that might be obsolete in a brief amount of time, such as computers or other high tech devices. When the contract ends, the company is free to lease new higher end appliances. The disadvantages of leasing method is the company is not owning it. As the company is not developing the value in the facilities, this loss of possession is a major drawback provided the equipment is not outdated at the end of the contract. Next, the duty to rent for the full term of the contract, and the company are obligated to make payments over the whole lease period until the company quit using the services. Few leases give the company option to terminate the lease if the company changes direction and the equipment they lease is no longer needed, but early termination costs are still high. The next method is equipment loan. Business equipment loans allow business owners to purchase equipment that would usually be too pricey to buy with cash. A loan for equipment is a perfect way for companies with certain tool or piece of machinery to raise their sale. The advantage of equipment loan is relatively easy to obtain. Equipment loans have the appropriate collateral designed in, which makes the lender or bank less of a chance. This makes getting accepted easier for the company. The next advantage is adds to the net value. Although maintaining the company cash flow, machinery loans will raise the net worth easily. The disadvantage of equipment loan is only can use for capital. This means if the company use a loan for equipment, they can only use it to purchase the equipment mentioned. That means they can't use it for any else for other expenses. So, as a conclusion, according to the analysis conducted to manufacture component P, the new advanced machine produced more net sales relative to hiring a manufacturing specialist. Currently, most corporate owners like to invest on new manufacturing by purchasing high capital intensive goods that require lower productivity per employee while the company has less cost. Instead of switching to labor intensive, it is preferable to transition to modern advanced computer manufacturing since it absorbs more costs and produces fewer benefits. If the market for component B or other goods manufactured by Tulip Berhad has decreased, then it is necessary and productive to scale up with the size of the output and remain the labor intensive. Thank you.